A Manhattan man has been arrested in connection with a Sunday shooting that injured one person out at Flint Hills Place. The Riley County Police Department says 45-year-old Brandon Turner was apprehended Monday evening by the Wichita Police Department, utilizing license plate reader technology to aid in his arrest. Turner is facing multiple charges, including attempted second-degree murder, aggravated battery, aggravated assault, and felony flee and attempt to elude. He remains jailed in Riley County on a $500,000 bond. Manhattan City Commissioners provided feedback Tuesday to city staff on potentially using industrial revenue bonds to help fund future rental housing development projects. City staff are refining a draft policy that would give the city some clarity on certain projects targeting areas of town for infill and rural housing incentive districts. Commissioners discussed last night possible criteria for the housing, including location, type, and number of units. Commissioner Peter Opelt says construction time is another important criteria to consider.
Yeah, I think 3 years is a pretty reasonable amount of time. I mean, we need housing today. I don't know if we need to make it a requirement, but definitely a scoring criteria.
Mayor Wynn Butler agrees.
And I would do the same thing with the 3 years. I'd put 3 years up there on top, but then if you can get it done in 18 months, you pick up some points down there to encourage it. And I think all the criteria, and we need to stay focused on why we're doing this, which is workforce housing.
Commissioners will receive a finalized plan at a future meeting. The city currently has a policy for using IRBs, which states it may only apply to low-income housing projects. The city's existing tax abatement policy also has specific requirements for the property tax abatement that would not continue to apply to these projects. Deputy Manhattan City Manager Jason Hilgers will assume the role of interim city manager next month after the retirement of City Manager Ron Fear. City Commissioners approved a contract agreement Tuesday night that will pay Hilgers his base salary plus 13%.
Once the interim role is complete, I'll return back to my role as Deputy City Manager.
Hilgers says he has no desire to seek the city manager position.
Personally, I've worked for the city for 24 years. It's one of those things that if I was really chomping at the bit to be a city manager, I probably would have left, several years ago. I like what I do, being the manager. It is a different job.
The City Commission will begin the process later this month of finding a successor for City Manager Ron Fear, whose retirement takes effect on April 18th. A federal grand jury has indicted a Junction City couple of fraudulently obtaining disability benefits from the Department of Veterans Affairs. The Department of Justice announced Monday that 47-year-old James Bradford and 45-year-old Equanda Bradford are each charged with single counts of conspiracy and theft of public money, property, or records. James is a U.S. Army veteran. He and his wife are accused of providing false and fraudulent information to the VA about his caregiver needs and her caregiving functions. All told, the pair received over $172,000 in disability compensation they were not entitled to, according to a news release. Authorities are investigating a report of criminal damage to property in the northern edge of Riley County. According to the Riley County Police Department, a 39-year-old man reported Monday that someone damaged his 2003 John Deere tractor by plugging a coolant line to the air cooler with a rifle shell casing. The incident occurred in the 1200 block of Green Randolph Road near Randolph. Police say damage associated is around $32,000. Anyone with information can contact Crime Stoppers. The Manhattan Parks and Recreation Advisory Board was presented on Monday with a first look at where a new proposed indoor aquatics facility could be built. Representatives from the city's consultant firm Vireo presented 3 design concepts for a reimagined city park, all showing a proposed indoor aquatics center and adjacent outdoor pool on the north side of City Park along Fremont Street near North Manhattan Avenue. The indoor facility would include a competition aquatics pool with spectator seating, a fitness center, and a gymnasium, as well as community rooms and an indoor area for children. The board was also presented with design concepts for a reimagined Northview Park, which includes one concept replacing Northview Pool with a splash pad. Parks and Rec Director Aaron Stewart says he favors consolidation.
One of the considerations needs to be looking at consolidation. Putting splash pads in is a more equitable approach. They have tons of feature, but there is no cost. So I do think that's a viable option that we need to consider.
Stewart says most cities the size of Manhattan have 1 or 2 pools maximum. He says the city currently is paying roughly $1 million annually as a subsidy for just 11 weeks of water at its 3 pools. The city of Manhattan is exploring 2 potential sales tax questions, which could be placed on the ballot this year to help fund any future project. A Riley County couple is among 6 Kansas couples who will be honored later this month as part of the 2023 Kansas Master Farmers and Homemakers. Andrea and Hugo DeJesus own and operate A&H Farms in Manhattan and operate 4 farmer markets and a farm store with the goal of having crops growing 350 days a year. The agritourism side of the operation has grown immensely since it began in 2010. In 2022, A&H Farms had more than 25,000 visitors to their farm store activities. Produce is sold to consumers directly through farmers markets, farm-to-table boxes, or the farm store. The couple will be recognized at a March 22nd program at the Manhattan Conference Center. The statewide program is in its 97th year, sponsored by K-State Research and Extension and Kansas Farmer Magazine.
Good morning, I'm Troy Coverdale with a look at your sports headlines as KMAN's morning news continues. K-State ran into a hot shooting home team in Lawrence last night, falling to the 14th-ranked Jayhawks 90-68.
They kicked our butts. We didn't deserve the win, didn't give an effort good enough to deserve the win. Disappointed in that because staff did an unbelievable job of putting together what I thought was a game plan that would give us a chance. But when the other team runs faster than you and on every possession and cuts harder than you on every possession and has a little bit more fight and want to than you do, these are the kind of results you had.
Cats coach Jerome Tang after his team saw Kansas put up 49 second-half points on 50% shooting. Kevin McCullough Jr. finished with 19. Hunter Dickinson added 15 points and 20 rebounds for the Jayhawks on their senior night. Will McNair finished with 17 points and 10 boards for the Wildcats, but leading scorers Tyler Perry and Cam Carter were almost completely shut down. In fact, Perry scored only 2 points.
Just did a very good job of, loading up every time I touched the ball and, putting 2 on my ball screens and, making it hard on my catch. But walk around here like I'm the man, I got to be the man. And so there's no really excuse on my shoulders.
Carter scored 3 on a night where senior David Gasson, junior Arthur Kaluma, and freshman Day Ames each finished with 10. Next up for the Wildcats, a matchup with Iowa State at Bramlage Saturday at 1 as the regular season comes to a close with the Senior Day contest. Also yesterday in the Big 12, Texas Tech hammers Oklahoma State 75-58. Oklahoma in overtime clips Cincinnati 74-71. In the top 25, third-ranked Purdue gets past number 12 Illinois 77-71. 7th-ranked North Carolina hammers Notre Dame 84-51. 13th-rated Auburn over Mizzou 101-74. Number 16 Alabama falls to Florida 105-87. Number 21 San Diego State gets nipped by UNLV 62-58. 24th-ranked USF was an 85-72 winner over Tulane. And number 25 Dayton downs St. Louis 100-83. K-State women's basketball players Ayoka Lee, Serena Sundell, and Gabby Gregory picked up all Big 12 honors on Tuesday. Lee, a unanimous selection to the All-Big 12 first team. She was also named to the All-Defensive squad. Sundell joined Lee on the first team. Gregory was named honorable mention. It's the 10th straight season that K-State has had 2 or more players earn all-conference honors. In fact, Lee, being named to the All-Big 12 first team for the 4th time in her career, joins Nicole Oldie and Kendra Wecker as the only 4-time All-Big 12 selections in program history. Up next for the Wildcats, the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City, the 3 seed will face either West Virginia, Cincinnati, or UCF Saturday night at 8. Oklahoma senior Skylar Vann and Texas freshman Madison Booker were the co-players of the year in the conference. Booker, the first ever freshman so honored. Oklahoma's Jenny Baranczyk was named Coach of the Year. The state basketball tournaments open this afternoon with the girls' brackets in 6A and 2A, including early starts for a couple of area squads. The Manhattan girls are the 8th seed heading into their first 6A tournament since 2018. They face one-loss Shawnee Mission South this afternoon at 2. Coach Scott Mall celebrated his team's sub-state title Friday over Liberal.
They're so competitive. They played so tough all year. It was finally, they deserve to get rewarded for how they played against some really good teams. And it was great. You always love it when good kids, good people get rewarded, and they earned this reward.
The matchup, the first of the 6A affair in Wichita, tipping at 2 on News Radio KMAN this afternoon. Also in 2A, Valley Heights, the 8th seed, they'll face Wichita County at 2 this afternoon in Dodge City. Tennessee shortstop David Curley clubbed 3 homers off K-State pitchers yesterday. Matt Walters fills in the details as the Volunteers hammered the Batcats.
It was a rough go Tuesday night in Knoxville for Kansas State as the 7th-ranked Tennessee Volunteers battered the Cats by a final of 15-5. Tennessee's won 11 straight. Now 12-1 on the year. K-State drops to 7-4. Tennessee produced 17 hits, a season-high tying a total. But what stood out last night, the 6 home runs hit by the Volunteers, 3 of them coming from freshman shortstop Dean Curley, who nearly hit for the home run cycle backwards. A grand slam homer, a 3-run homer, and a 2-run homer, and then in the bottom of the 8th with nobody on and 2 out, Curley drove one to the wall in right field, but it stayed in the park. He drove in 9 in last night's contest. Owen Borma suffered the loss, 9 earned allowed in 3 innings. K-State tries to bounce back today. Short turnaround, the Cats and Clemson for you. From Clemson, South Carolina, 4:30 for pregame coverage, 5 o'clock for the first pitch. Again, Tuesday night in Knoxville, all Tennessee, final score 15-5. Vols. I'm Matt Walters, News Radio KMAN.
Finally, old friend Dean Wade made 5 3-pointers last night and scored a career-high 20 points in the fourth quarter as Cleveland stunned Boston 105-104, ending the NBA-leading Celtics winning streak at 11 games.
So where does outscoring the Celtics in one quarter by yourself rank for you?
Ranks pretty high. Pretty high, yeah. It was felt good. Fourth quarter, the rim looked really big.
Wade's putback dunk with 19 seconds left put the Cavs ahead as he personally outscored the Celtics 20-17 in the fourth period. Manhattan High girls basketball this afternoon from the 6A state tournament for you. Our coverage getting underway at 1:45. The tip-off at 2 as the Indians take on Shawnee Mission South. K-State baseball coverage at 4:30 from Clemson, South Carolina. The Cats and the Tigers get underway at 5 on News Radio KMAN.